So let me share the book again. All right, so we finished talking about number 4. Thank you so much, Andre, for your answers. Now, in this IELTS practice says, in speaker part 3, the examiner will ask you about more abstract aspects of a topic. Work in pairs, taking turns to ask questions so you to see below. So, because we're just so few, I want all of the class to answer A, B, and C and express it individually. So you have 2 minutes to prepare all of these answers, okay? So please prepare. Ms. Jocelyn, you please take 2 minutes to prepare the answers to exercise 5, topic discussion, A, B, and C. All right. Who would like to start? A, B, and C.
Memes again. So, how has life changed for young people in the country? This is interesting because I always ask this to my parents, how different was or is life now from when they were young,
Mhm,
and they always say the most important or the bigger change is technology because really technology gave an enormous step between generations. We started with those brick cell phones, and now we have tablets, cell phones that are really small, and you can connect it to the internet. So it's really impressive to think how much technology has advanced since 20, 30 years ago. And I think that's what really impacts young people. And and B, in which other period? This is also tricky for me, Miss, because I would not like to have lived in other time. I mean, at least in the past, if I have the chance, I would love to visit the future. I mean, 3,000 or 5,000 years in the future, because I'm very curious to know what's gonna happen to human race. But I don't want to go back in the past. I can read it in a book and I can appreciate it, but I like to live here today. And what do you think future historians will say about it right now? I think that future historians are gonna talk a lot about the coronavirus pandemic because it's something that mm, happened in a long time, and it's interesting to know to see how a pandemic is affecting a society that has advanced so much in technology, because people will think that, oh, it's just a virus, we have all this technology, it's nothing. But
mhm,
in reality, it's something really serious. And even now, I think 3 years with the COVID, we
mhm,
are still fighting and losing many people. So I think this is a period that we are not realizing that is so important that it's gonna be in history books
mhm.
from here throughout a lot of years.
Very nice. All right, Mr. Andrew. Thank you so much. Marcel, what can you say?
Uh, as I know from my parents' histories, my mother, for example, used to tell me that in their times when she was young, women don't have allowed to even pass class. But for she, fortunately, my grandfather manage it to her to get class, and
Mhm,
she tells us that maybe she doesn't go to the university, but mm, lately she knows how to write and even how to write his name at least. Um, and now is curious because is anyone can do, and it's a bit tricky because before many want to but can't, and now is like, please go to the school, please go, or do your homeworks,
yeah,
please. You
yeah.
are supplicating them like. please. It's a bit tricky. And in B, I don't know why, but I have some interest about life. In contrast with this time, the times where I don't know people like Michelangelo or Da Vinci used to live, because at that times nobody was discovered yet, or nothing was discovered yet, even planes or cars. It's a bit tricky because now you are bored, you go Google or Netflix, you put a series, soap opera, sorry, soap opera, a movie, and see it. But time before, I don't know, is would like to know what they do to pass the time or what they do in their activity tasks in contrast with now.
Mhm,
But looking before was invented,
mhm,
maybe medieval eras, and see, I don't know how this will be say about how we live now, but I don't know. It's a bit tricky because in this time, especially by the pandemic, what we do is be at home only, and when the Omicron,
Omicron.
uh, Omicron, we I don't know how historians will say that we used to spend time at home, working from home, basically don't doing any physical activity, or if we used to spend hours in front of a screen doing nothing. Maybe it's a bit confusing. I don't know what
Yeah.
they are going to talk about.
All
That
right.
is me.
All right. Marcelo, don't forget to use did, the past. You used a lot of present auxiliaries. Don't forget about that.
What do you
Okay.
mean?
Now, all right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Marcelo. They were really interesting. Yes. Now everybody says they study. Education is the key for everything. All right. I don't know, Miss Jocelyn, if you're there, if you can answer HC. Jocelyn. All right. I really enjoyed your answers. They were very cohesive and interesting to be part of your personality of who you are. And I mean, the last question: what do you think future historians will say about the way we live now? I like both of you that used the pandemic. Yeah. Uh, like Mr. Audrey says, even though we have technology, we couldn't solve this with everything that we know now. And Marcelo says that we had to live in front of a screen, not have physical contact, not do activities, not do so many things. And how would that that result in the future? So you're the ones that are gonna tell the true story about this, right? The thesis leaving a message. Okay, so she has a microphone problem. Okay, don't worry about that. It's just and so you're the historians, yeah, and that it's gonna be interesting. So write us in your diary or somewhere how you felt because to your grandchildren or children, you have to explain what we've been through. It's gonna be Uh, one thing that I want to share with this is the first month that we were having virtual classes at Sound. I had a student that he was very depressed and he couldn't manage being at home because he said in his speaking exercises, he said, all of my day was being outside. I mean, get up at 6 in the morning and had to train with my football team. From my football team, return home, have breakfast, take a shower, go back outside, go to university, and go back home, eat something, again, out university, have a football practice. So all of his day was active outside his home. When this happened, he couldn't train anymore and he had to live with his parents, have a family gathering. And he was very stressed. He couldn't deal with it. And looking at us through a screen was very stressful. So he left the institute for 2 months or maybe half a year. And when he came back, I asked him, "How are you? How did you deal with your situation of handling family matters, whether your siblings and your mom, your dad?" And he told all the class that he it was hard, and it was hard to get used to being at home. And that's something that future historians might see, that connection with our families got stronger for some, or others got I don't know, um, got really in trouble because you couldn't get used to that fact of being all together at home. So that's something that now people analyze. We should spend more time at home, even though we have many activities. And this pandemic taught us that the only people that we can be surrounded with is our families. Even though if we don't get along with brothers or sisters or whatever problems we have, it was the support of many parts of the world. And I remember in Spain, I don't know if you remember, there were many people dying in Europe, but mainly in Spain. And I remember a young woman, she was talking and she was crying and she said, I wish I was back at home with my parents. I live in Madrid, but my parents live far away and I wish to be with them. I feel so alone in my apartment here, and I cannot even go out and eat something. I feel alone. So there was, even though people say, "Oh, living alone is the best thing," woohoo, I can do whatever I want. But with this, everybody learned that we need that connection with people. So I don't know, it's going to be interesting in the future and how, as parents, or how, as I don't know, you have relationships, how to manage, how to balance our life in our homes and outside. Yeah, not to have that shock and depression to be, oh my goodness, we're in a lockdown and we cannot be, I cannot be out. So that is something that I personally analyze. And the good thing is that a home has to be like I don't know, a place to escape. Yeah, just to get out of the world. So I think future generations might consider that your home is something really special. Even though if you live alone, you need to make it a special place. Okay, that's my conclusion for future generations. What I've learned in this, and though I knew, yeah, but living that, it was really strange. Now, do you have anything else to say about the future, the past, and the present? And Marcelo, the medieval times, are you crazy? They were very, I don't know, very drastic. I mean, unfortunately, the ignorance of that time was horrible. Yes, Miss Jocelyn, what can you say? No, Miss Jocelyn. I don't know if you can speak. Hi, Jocelyn. Okay, don't worry. Now let's begin with language for writing. If you can speak, Jocelyn, but we have some microphone problems, but if you can, no problem. Okay? And we have language for writing. Remember that I'm gonna always show you new platforms. And I didn't tell you what they did in the second chance test. Well, your classmates Yeah, Leticia, don't worry. Yeah, I know, but maybe you have to turn everything off and then turn everything on. So tomorrow you'll be able to say something because we only have like 20 minutes. It's up to you. If you want to turn on your computer and turn it on, it's up to you. Well, with your classmates, the second chance test was a writing test, only one part because there are two parts, remember? But there was only one part that they had to write and put it in a platform, to present it in a platform. So some of them did it well, others got lost somewhere. And again, it's gonna be. Please don't go to the second chance test. I hope not to have anyone here to do that test. Okay, and we're gonna practice the conditionals. All right, the conditionals. So let's remember what are conditionals. First conditional, second conditional, zero conditional, third conditional, mixed conditionals. Remember, if I were a princess, like that. Yeah. So for each sentence, underline the verbs. What verb tense are used? What do you use this kind of conditional for? So try to remember it's a review of what we did in the past, what you did in the past with other teachers. Please start analyzing this. Sorry, how are you? Can we explain these conditionals? You remember them? It's a review. Okay, so hey, you will understand this point if you read Barr's Society in 1750. Okay, what first it says what verb tense are used. Underline the verbs. So let's underline the verbs. What were verbs? We have this model verb, so let's underline. Will understand because it's connected, right? Will understand. Another verb is read. Okay. Okay. Now, what do we use this kind of conditionals for? And what verb tense are used? What verb tense are used? You will understand. Is it with will understand? Point if you read. So here we have. This is a future simple. Future simple with future simple plus a present simple, right? Plus present simple. This is it. Understand. Present simple, right? And I don't know, it's just present simple with if you read. If you read. And it says, what do we use this kind of conditional for? In this case is the first conditional. This is the first conditional. And it's used to describe a possible situation in the present or future. That's why it's called the first conditional, like that. Okay, so let's do. Oh, we have 9 minutes. Let's do it. If the documents had survived, we would know more about those events. First, verbs. Let's understand what verbs in B.
He had survived.
Yes, had survived. Another?
Would know.
Yes, would know. Okay, so that's it. Now, what verb tense are used? So what verb tense is this? Had survived. What tense is that? Had survived. What is it?
He past perfect.
Past perfect. Plus, what is this? Would know. It would, what is that? It's a conditional, right? And this conditional also has no, and it's an infinitive. So that is the tenses that are used. Now, what do we use this kind of conditionals for? So what is this conditional for? Never forget, this is the mixed conditional. Now, why do we use this mixed conditional? If we read, if the document had survived, we would know more about those events. That means that we used to describe an unreal situation. Unreal because it says if the dog had survived. Es como decir si hubiera. Had survived. Mm, this unreal past situation with an imaginary present result. Entonces, the imaginary present result, we would know, supiéramos, yeah? We would know, that's why it's the mixed conditional, all right? What about C? Where's the verb?
Luces.
Loses. What else?
Bends.
Yes, bends. All right, both of them. What verb tense are they? Loses and bends. Loses and bends. What tense is that? You know very well. Present simple, right? Present simple plus present. I'm going to put it like this: plus present simple plus present simple. So this is, what is this? Da, 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 da. That, that makes it, what does it mean? When it's simple and simple?
No conditional.
So that means zero. That's zero conditional. D. If they had built a city on the coast, it would have become a major port. Verbs.
Had built.
Had built. Yeah. Had built. Another.
Would have become.
Yes, that's right. All right, so what tenses are used? This one we know is past perfect. So I'm just gonna put right here. Past perfect with, again, the conditional. What else? Now that is different from the one we would know. We have become. So we plus have and plus what? Past participle. Yeah. Now, what does it mean? What conditional is it? What do you think? If we have that order of tenses, it is called the third conditional. Now, I didn't say what meant the zero conditional. First, let me explain. The zero conditional is used to describe something that always happens. Always. It's like my pen. If you click up here, the pen will come out. Yeah, it always happens. It always. Now D, the difference is this third conditional mainly is used to describe an unreal past situation with imaginary past result. So it's very different from the mixed conditional. Yep, because if we read it, if they had built a city on the coast, it would have become a major port. It's like saying if uh, we hadn't fought with the Chileans, Bolivia would have become one of the most major ports in Latin America, like that. Yeah, past events with past imaginary results. We have a minute, so E, we're gonna do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, our first week. And again, I'm gonna give you other exercises of IELTS and other things. Yeah, and there will be more presentations. So try to keep your microphone good. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye bye.